one thing I can advise all of us is fun never ends, you know, but, you know, finding your partner and building up a relationship does not only help your, you know, your health, but your mental health, your, you know, your well-being, your growth. Because, you know, you can, trust me, you can jump from 100 relationships and you can never find happiness.
And it goes beyond that, the finances, and it goes towards, you know, making decisions together, determining how you're going to, whether or not you're going to have kids or how many, whether or not, where you're going to live. If one person is making all the decisions, then it leaves the relationship very lopsided, and the other person will feel victimized at some point.
Some days I have more to give energy-wise than my partner might have. So on that day, she can't give 50. So I might need to be able to give 80 because all she can give is 20.
This is everyone's world, but this is a man's world. Do you ever wonder what conversations are had in the barbershop? Especially when the cape goes on and the clippers come out, the hot takes. I am giving you the inside scoop. On this episode of After Dark Chat, let's get real with our man. What does a solid or healthy relationship look like to us?
Communication. Trust. Okay. Boundaries that are respected by each other and clearly stated. Understanding.
Yeah.
Mutual respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like for me. Like, yeah. And that's not just like intimate, like sexual relationships, as it does in general. If I can't trust you, I can't build with you, then what are we doing?
Yeah, I agree.
And part of the communication aspect is being willing to engage in healthy conflict, not avoiding conflict. A lot of times, you know, where there is conflict, it's about yelling or one person saying, you did this wrong or you did this wrong. But learning ways to communicate what it is that has gone wrong or how we felt we've been wrong in a way that doesn't cause the other person to shut their ears down, but allows them to also begin to understand what you're feeling. So so before that, you have to be able to actually understand what you're feeling and then be able to communicate what you're feeling, and then together as a couple or as a group, be able to work through that without anyone being on target to take all the blame.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, for us, we like I have difficulty I'm on the spectrum, and I have difficulty figuring out exactly how I feel sometimes. So I know something has upset me. I'll tell you I'm upset. I don't know why I'm upset right now, but can I tell you later? You just know that I'm upset. And we offer space for each other to step away, you know, figure out how you're feeling. And then once we know how you're feeling, you also give yourself time to kind of cool down, to be able to have a conversation. That's really helpful in being able to not speak from a place of anger and cause the person to close down, as Tony mentioned.
And the other, can I just throw in one other thing, is we often expect the other person to be able to read our minds in terms of what we need. So yes, I can say, this is the situation that happened, this is how it made me feel, but until I say, this is what I need from you in order to not feel this way anymore, we're not going to get our needs met, and I'm going to still live with that issue.
I agree.
No, I agree with that. And to add to that is you got to be willing to serve. So I think before it even gets to that, where you're able to communicate, you have to be open and willing to just come into it to be like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to, you know, make things right. If there is conflict. So,
I appreciate these multiple takes, and Stévia, just going back on what you said about being on the spectrum, you know, it's important that you mentioned that, and I really appreciate your vulnerability as well, because you spoke about something that often isn't talked about, right? But I think because of the safety net that we've created in this whole conversation, we spoke about the safety of spaces like this. That would have, you know, given you the courage as well to say that. So thank you for that. Derrick, how can we better support as men or partners when it comes to, you know, sexual health and overall well-being?
Again, it's open conversations, that are really, really important. Because again, you can't be my partner and we can't solve something together. So if we can't solve issues or an argument or having a health conversation regarding our relationship, for example, if we feel like we need to run, let's say, an HIV testing, it's as simple as getting a kit that we can do it from home in our comfort. That zeroes down the stress of we have to go book an appointment to a sexual clinic or this and the other. So if we able to communicate and being free with each other, as you said, respective of boundaries, if we are respective of each other's boundaries and decisions and all that, that also contributes on a health relationship and a health sexual life. I think that's pretty, really very important if we are to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've been having a really heated conversation here, very informative as well. And I think many people after watching this video will learn so much about some of the things that we've spoken about. But before we go, I just want each person to give an advice. So to a man out there, what's one piece of advice you would give when it comes to relationships, protection, sex, just about all the things that we've spoken about today?
What I would say about relationships, you asked about health relationships before. I watch this Buddhist monk on YouTube sometimes, and he talks about what love means. And part of what he says is that if I'm just attached to somebody, then I want them to make me happy. But if I truly love somebody, love says, I love you, I want your happiness. Even if that happiness is without me, I still want you to be happy. And I have to also be willing to realize that nothing ever stays the same. Life changes. And so I may be in this loving relationship where I feel all my needs are being met and something changes and my partner has to go. That's okay. Everything has to change at some point. And if I'm determined to hold on to something that's unhealthy because it's comfortable and it's meeting my immediate needs, then it doesn't predict a very good future in terms of relationships.
Yeah, thank you so very much for that, Tony. Sorie, Derrick, Stévia.
I think, again, coming back to that piece where men are often taught to not be emotional. If you are not able to be even vulnerable with yourself, then you can't really be vulnerable with anybody else.
Yeah.
And taking time, despite the player culture, taking time to get to know you, get to know what you like and what you need, could really help you be vulnerable enough to be with the person or people, if you're into open relationships, that help you grow, foster who you are, and become a better person in yourself, and better for your relationship.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for that.
Yeah. One thing I always tell, especially my young clients, is just go out there and F up, right? Just keep making mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only way you're gonna learn, and it's okay. Yeah, that's it. Just keep making mistakes, brother.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I could say one thing I can advise all of us is fun never ends, but finding your partner and building up a relationship does not only help your health, but your mental health, your well-being, your growth. Because you can trust me, you can jump from 100 relationships and you can never find happiness. But if you lay down your guard and you build up with somebody, at the end of the day, you're gonna realize that you're living a beautiful life.
Thank you so very much for that, Derrick. Just two more questions. Win or bin? Going 50-50 with your partner?
Depends.
It depends. What does it depend on?
Okay, so So here's the things, because usually when that question is brought up, I think a lot of people come to finances.
Yeah.
And I think we need to change that.
Okay.
When the 50-50 thing is brought up, like if someone's taking care of the finances, someone could take care of the house. Like that's 50-50 to me. It's not everybody's going 50K in spendings. Nah, like it's, we figure out what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and try to come closer to our strengths and how we can mesh that together. That's 50-50.
Okay.
And it goes beyond that, the finances, and it goes towards, making decisions together, determining how you're going to, whether or not you're going to have kids or how many, whether or not where you're going to live. If one person is making all the decisions, then it leaves the relationship very lopsided, and the other person will feel victimized at some point.
Yeah. So we're saying that it's kind of in the middle. So it's neither win or bin.
Yeah.
Equal is not the same
Equal.
as equitable, right?
Exactly.
So it's an equitable division of labor is not the same as an equal division of labor.
Yeah.
If it's 50-50 equitably, then yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I think you thought about finances, but I think you and I thought along the same lines. I think some days I have more to give energy wise than my partner might have. So on that day, she can't give 50.
Yeah.
So I might need to be able to give 80 because all she can give is 20.
20.
And that's okay because next week I might not be able to give 1%.
Yeah.
And she got the 100 to give, right?
I appreciate
So when I that is it for me, the difference between equity and equality. Like how is that 50-50 being split? That's why I say it depends.